Whether you are joining us from US, Europe, Mexico, South America, Southeast Asia, or anywhere else around the world, I'm so happy you are here with me today. Thank you for tuning in, my friend. This channel is dedicated to sharing you the spiritual wisdom and human warmth found in the words of Chinese author Xuemo. So, no matter where you are joined from, I hope you can feel a sense of peace, inspiration, and connection in this little corner of internet. Yeah. So let's talk about who is Mr. Xuemo and why should you care about Mr. Xuemo's work. Mr. Xuemo is one of the most prolific and inspiring authors from Western China, and his story bridges Eastern wisdom and universal human emotions, offering readers around the world deep insight and timeless inspiration. So if you love meaningful story, profound thoughts, and beautifully written books, and good vibes, this is a space. Um, Miyashimo's story bridge Eastern universal human emotions, offering readers around the world deep insight and timeless inspiration. So no matter where you join from, I hope you can feel a sense of peace, inspiration at this corner of internet. Yeah. Mr. Xuemo is one of the most prolific and inspiring authors from Western China. His story bridges Eastern wisdom and universal human emotions, offering readers around the world deep insight and timeless inspiration. So, if you love meaningful story, profound thoughts, and beautifully written books, you are absolutely in the right place. Reading is not only about getting knowledge, it's a way to nourish the soul, to remember who we are, and to discover peace and clarity. So don't just scroll past, my friend. Hit the follow button, and subscribe our channel. Yeah, and subscribe our channel. Today we're talking about okay. mm, we go live different times every day, bringing you fun stories, inspiring talks, and good vibes. This is a space full of warmth, positivity, and love. So make yourself a comment right here and give us a like if and drop a comment below if you have any questions. Let's spend a wonderful time together right here. Okay. Today I want to introduce you a novel that many readers say changed the way they see China. Okay, the book is called The Desert Rise. The Desert Rise, written by Chinese author Xuemo. Desert Rise, written by Chinese author Xuemo. Yeah, sorry. Okay, that this this book took our author 12 years in total to finish with elaborate care and eventually made him achieve immense literary acclaim and launched Mitsubima's career as a nationally recognized writer. Who is the Desert Rise written for? Who is the Desert Rise written for? Some readers said it is a requiem for disappearing agriculture civilization, and others said it preserved the life and the spirit of entire generation. And still other believes and still others believe it is a farewell. It is a farewell to history itself, the histories in the 1990s in Western China. Yeah. And the book set in the Hersey corridor of Gansu province, China. The Desert Rise is one of Mr. Sherman's most powerful novels. Yeah, it brings to life a small farming village in northwestern China, not through grand sword, famous heroes, but through a quiet, enduring strength of ordinary people. The story follows Lao Shun and his family as they struggle to survive with almost nothing. They raise hawk as hunter. For catching the white hares, they plant yams, they quarrel, love, worship, and the monk. This simple moment of hunger, laughter, and loss form a moving portrait of humanity's fight to live with dignity, courage, and hope. Mr. Sherman once said, I just want to leave something behind. evidence that we once lived. That exactly what the desert rice does. This book, it preserves the shows of a disappearing world and remind us that even the smallest life carry infinite meaning. Yeah. Can you imagine that Mr. Sherman spent 20 years in totally, from the age of 25 to 46, creating what is not known as the Desert Challenges. The Desert Challenges is about desert rice, desert hunter, and the white tiger pass. These three books as the Desert Challenges. This book, it took our author Xuemo 12 years in total to finish these three books. Okay, so let's continue to talk about the desert rice. The desert rice is the first unforgettable volumes written by Chinese author Xuemo. Okay, yeah. So let's continue to talk about this book. Okay. Hi, where's the girl snapshot sniper? Okay, you mean Jan or Joanna? Okay, Jan just do the live stream about 2 hours ago. 2 hours ago, yeah. Sniper. Okay, hi, nice to meet you. So you love to play some video games, my friend. Your name is just like that. You're playing the video games. Yeah, you're welcome, my friend. Okay, Sniper, have you ever subscribed our channel? So if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe our channel. Today I'm talking about the book written by Chinese author Xuemo, and then this book is about the histories in 1990s in the rural villages in Western China. Yeah. So let's continue to talk about this book, The Desert Rise. Through our author Xuemo's writing, we feel the past of China. Ah, your name is okay. Oh, so you're a photographer, okay? So where are you from, Sniper? Sniper, where are you from? Yeah. So let's continue to talk about this book, okay? Through our autonomous writing, we view the past of China's vast western land. Okay, Sniper, so you love to tell it your for the okay, your job as using the photography. So you can come to China. In here, we have the Tenga deserts. It's the most beautiful sceneries of the deserts. Okay, compared to the sceneries of all over the world. Yeah. So through our autonomous writing in the desert rise, we feel the past of the China vast western land, the endless horizons, and the cruel beauty of the deserts, and the quiet strength of the people who live there. Yeah, as his translator, Professor Sibyl Ling, beautifully said, Mr. Schumer's novel carried the flavor of Western wilderness and let the foreign reader experience both brutality and the beauty of the life in the desert. Okay, for Western reader who love the grace of wrath, or 100 years of solitude, Desert Rise offer the same timeless power, the story of human endurance, love, and the quiet heroism of ordinary life. And this book opens the door into a vanishing world where traditions, songs, and simple joys are fading. Yet through Simo's writing, they live forever. So if you're looking for something authentic, poetic, and spiritually powerful, so you can get your copy of The Desert Rise today, right here on Amazon. It is available in both paperback and Kindle ebooks right here. So this book, Desert Rise, is more than a novel. It is a piece of living history, a window into the soul of China's desert people, and a tribute to life itself. One of my friend, he's from Canada. Yeah, and he couldn't stop praising after reading The Desert Rise. He told me that. He was deeply moved. The emotion in the book felt so delicate and so real. He said that this is the first time I would truly step into China through a story. Although he is ethnically Chinese, and his grandfather immigrated from China to Canada, yeah, and he grew up reading books about China written mostly by the Western author. The Desert Rise. The Desert Rise was the first book by a Chinese writer that he had ever read. A book about the real lives, struggles, and the spirit of the Chinese people. My friend also told me that the translator, Mr. Holt Goblet and Mrs. Sylvia Richard Lin, beautifully preserve Mrs. Schumer's deep emotions in this book. Mr. Schumer's love, longing for his homeland, that authenticity made him feel completely in love with Schumer's writing, he said. Okay, this book, it also have a German edition. The Desert Rise was translated by Hans-Peter Koch, a student of the renowned German psychology of Wolfgang Gubin, and published by Australia's Becklebear Press. Meanwhile, the Spanish edition is being translated by Liliana Absorska, a respected Mexican psychologist and a professor at the College of Mexico. Yeah. So this is the first warrant of the Desert Rise, the desert from the Desert Geologist, Desert Rise, written by Chinese author Xuemo. Okay. So after the release of this new book in the years of 2020, Mr. Xuemo became the famous writers in China. So can you imagine that? Okay, after 20 years, 26 years later, so we come to our author Schumer's apartment, okay, and we find the handwriting notebooks of the Desert Rise. Can you imagine that Mr. Schumer write this book for 12 years? So when we find the handwriting notebooks, it's just as tall as me, okay? So the handwritings are, it means that Mr. Schumer write these books for 12 years again and again. So, so why can you imagine that a writer, he wake up 3 a.m. and then go to bed at 11 p.m. Okay, all his job is writing, reading, and meditation. So for 12 years, and during 5 years, Mr. Schumer can write a single word, cannot write a single word. Yeah. So he just sitting in front of the table and waiting to the enlightenment wisdom to become active. Yeah. So our auditorium symbol just waiting something happens. Yeah. So that is our author Schumer's writing experience of this book, The Desert Rise. Okay. Now I'm going to share you about the second warrants of the desert geologist. That is the desert hunter. The desert hunter. Yeah. I'm going to share you the good news. Okay. Now is June 18th. Okay. And this book we get movies in the August of the 2020 years, 2026, okay, this year. Yeah. Desert Hunter. Desert Hunter is a full-length novel by Xuemo, centered on Meng Baye, a repentant avid hunter. This book will start with a poaching incident and tell a series of stories, including the bloody struggle between two groups of the herdsmen over purchase in Western China. Okay, and the Desert Hunter presents the living sense of collective growth, focusing on conflict and integration beneath this sense. However, its impact is not achieved through the up and downs of the story plot, but through an overall and powerful visual impact. The author, Xuemo, doesn't intend to shape a single individual life. Instead, by faithfully recording the life of a generation of people, Mr. Xuemo aimed to tell the world, even history, that during a certain historical period, a generation lived in this way, a generation lived in this way. Yeah. So the life in the desert rise unfolds, the life in the desert rise, the hunter unfolds around a single well in the desert. Yeah, this process speaks very well. Is the source of survival for the herdsman. Is the survival for the herdsman and their sheep from two opposite camps, north and south are the guarded. Yeah, when the water is abandoned, when the water is abandoned, the people live in harmony. Okay, the people live in harmony. When the water dries up, they slaughter each other. They slaughter each other. Yeah. They slaughter each other. Okay. Let's continue to talk about the book. Okay. Let's continue to talk about the book. Okay. Now the water table has dropped below 100 meters, and the thirsty sheep has begun to drink the human urine and the cow's blood. To survive, the herdsman life a death struggle unfolds like a real life Western Chinese blockbuster. Many thieves came down from the Chilean mountain, okay, sneaking into the desert to poach, which alarmed the provincial authorities. Over 100 police officers conducted several searches in the desert, but ultimately found nothing. Hi, viewer, this is Louis from Western China. I'm here to sharing you the book about written by Chinese writer Xuemo. And this book is about how the people live in the 1990s in Western China. Okay, and then you know that during 1990s, the economy was developing so fast during that period, and also in Western China. Okay, these three books, the Desert Trilogies, record the histories of the agriculture civilization in the 1990s in Western China. Yeah. So let's talk about the cities of Wu Wei. Okay, in the north, in the north is the desert. The north of the city is the desert, the Tanger Desert. The Tanger, it means in Mongolia it means heaven. It means heaven. Yeah. And then in the south, east and the west, hi, Kuranen, hi, nice to meet you, my friend. How's anything? Quranan. Okay, so let's continue to talk about the city, the Wuwei city. Okay, in the south, east, and the west are the mountain, the Chilean mountains, and the north of the city is the desert, Tenga Desert. So Mr. Xuemo just live in the Gobi Desert of the. Okay, see you. Yeah, have a nice day. Okay. Kiranan. Okay, nice to meet you. Okay, so let's continue to talk about the story. Okay, the city. So when we want to know the desert hunter, so we have to know the city. Okay, so Mr. Xuemo just live in the north of the city, near the in the Gobi deserts, near the Tengu deserts, right here. Yeah, and also and also in 1990s, a lot of poachers come to the desert for poaching the wolf and the fox. Yeah. So if you ever saw the movies of the Tibetan movies, that's called Kekasili. Kekasili. Okay. So in Kekasili, you will know that you will know that a lot of sheep was killed by the poachers. And here in this book, a lot of wolf, a lot of fox in the desert were killed by the poachers. Yeah. So, and the thieves came down from the Chilean mountain and sneaking into the desert to poach, which alarmed the provincial authorities. Over 100 police officers conducted several search in the desert, but ultimately found nothing. So the police station assigned Meng Baye, an experienced elite hunter, and Meng Zi, a brave and capable young hunter, to go deep into the desert to track down the poachers. Yeah. So the elderly hunter took his Tibetan mastiff with him. After arriving at the Peaceberry Well, the oasis of the desert, the elderly hunter and the young hunter settled down with the well keeper's wife, settled down with the well keeper, okay, Huozi, okay, waiting for the poachers to appear. And when they settled in the oasis of the desert, the young hunter fell in love with the well keeper's wife. Okay, the well keeper's wife, okay, a woman without a name, and then the people just call her Huozi's wife. Huozi's wife. Yeah. So do you know what is the meaning of Huozi in Chinese? Okay, his mouth has a hole right here. So the people call the well keeper as Huozi. Okay. So and then the young hunter fell in love with Huozi's wife and harbored jealousies towards Huozi. Huozi's wife was the only woman at the Peaceberry Well. She was blonde and coquettish, often stirring desires in different men. So in this novel, the desert hunter, Huozi's wife, she's not the native of Gansu. She's not the native of Gansu. Uh, but in this novel, the novel didn't say where is the horse's voice come from. Okay, but she is not the native of Gansu province. Yeah. So let's continue to talk about the story. Okay, in this book. So when the young hunter and the elderly hunter settled in the oasis of the desert, okay, there is a mother wolf. The mother wolf took their children to drink the water during the midnight, and then the mother wolf's baby wolf was killed by the young hunter by accident. Okay, and the baby wolf is a blind wolf. So the mother wolf found his son for many times, and when the mother wolf found that his son was killed by the herdsman, by the hunter, so and the mother wolf get mad. Okay, and the mother wolf revenge to the herdsman and kill hundreds of lambs. Do you know what happened to the mother wolf? So how do you know the mother wolf is just revenge to the herdsman? So I'm going to sharing you a story about how the the wolf revenge to the herdsman. So the wolf just killed the lamb one by one, and she didn't eat any bite of meat, and she didn't drink any blood from the lamb. She just bite the net, kill the lamb one by one, and then escape. Okay, so that is the revenge to the wolf. And then when hundreds of lambs was killed by the wolf, all the all the herdsmen are so upset and worried about that their views, their lamb will be killed by the wolf. And only one herdsman was happy. So why the herdsman is so happy when their lambs was killed? Okay, let's talk about that herdsman. That herdsman and his name is called Hei Gaozi. So do you know what is the meaning of Hei Gaozi in Chinese? Hei Gaozi, it means that black lamb, black lamb. So in Western China, all the lambs are white. All the lambs are white, and this and this herdsman, his name is Hei Gaozi, black lamb. So it means that Hei Gaozi is different from the another herdsman. Yeah. Okay. Hei Gaozi, he read a lot of books. He read a lot of books. He don't want to he don't want to become a herdsman, but his father forced him to be a herdsman. He wanted to go to the city for the university. but his father didn't let him to go to the city for the further education for the university. And then he got a chance that he want to escape from the not more it is he find a chance to change his destiny. He don't want to be a herdsman anymore. So he was so happy when the lamb was killed by the wolf. Yeah. So and then Hagar just told to another herdsman. He said, "Hey, buddy. So I know that your lamb was killed by the wolf. You are so sad. Hi, Fact. Nice to meet you. Hi, Fact. The Fact from Max. Nice to meet you. Okay, this is Louis from Western China. Yeah. You okay? So do you know that why the and then the Hagar told to the herdsman. He said, "Hey, buddy. So don't be sad. I know that your lamb was killed by the wolf. You're so sad. But I give you one choice at that. So I will use my magic. I believe the magic. Yeah, I believe the magic. Yeah. So some black magic. Yeah. So can you play the magic? So can you see a lot of magic show? A lot of magic show in the TV? Yeah. And sometimes I can also play some magic. Yeah. I use the card to play the magic, and I also use some red ball to play the magic. And I sometimes I will use the money to play the magic. Yeah, that's some kind of magic show. You mean don't? Oh, you don't mean the magic show? Okay, okay. Yeah. Sometimes there is there's if there is this vocabulary alive, okay, there's something exists. So I believe the magic. Yeah. Oh, the miracles happens in our life. Yeah, a lot of a lot of things happens in our life. Um, yeah. Do you know that? Uh, how to say that? So can you show me some example fact? Can you show me some examples that the magic happened in our real life? Yeah. So let's continue to talk about this book before you show me the example. Okay. 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 The black lamb and told the man he wanted to use his alive lamb to exchange the lamb body. Yeah. Just because he don't want to be a husband anymore. Okay. After Hagar's parents know what happens in the OAs, okay, Hagar's parents were so angry. Hagar was beaten by his father, and his books was burned by his father. Yeah. So there is some part of stories about happens in the desert hunters. Okay. Based on the tip-off, the police officer set out an ambush in the mountain, and the elderly hunter and the plainclothes police lay in wait in the ginger all the night. But the poachers never showed up. And then at that time, the poacher reader names Yaozi. Yaozi, it means sparrowhawk, okay? Known as a crack shot and extremely cunning. So at that time, the poacher and the poacher reader have already arrived at the Pittsburgh well in the oasis of the desert. So the cold, stunning Yaozi fascinated with the horse's wife, which aroused the young hunter's resentment. So the young hunter picked a fight and challenged Yaozi to a wrestling match. During the match, Yaozi's bone was breaking. Okay. So and the poachers are eager to take their leader to the city for bone setting treatment. Yeah. As soon as the poachers left, as soon as the poachers left, and the policeman disguised as Muslim, and the other hunter and the policeman disguised as Muslim arrive. Another near miss. So you know that in Western China, in this city, Wuwei city, okay. So there are farmers and herdsmen fish together. Yeah. So in the south part of China, in the east part of China, from Wuwei, and all the peoples are the farmers. Here, the people, some people, half of the peoples are the herdsmen, half of the peoples are the farmers, and some people in the morning they will be the farmer, in the evening they will be the herdsman. Yeah. So that is the cultures in this city. Okay. And then you know what happens. So, and a lot of Muslim live in this city. They do the business with the land. They do the business with the land. Yeah. So last time I met a Muslim. He was doing the business with a small lamb, okay? And he told me that for one lamb now is about 700 RMB. 700 RMB for one little lamb, okay? So, and the poachers set out the nest again in the South Mountain. Thomas Edison. Yeah, yeah, I know that. Edison, I know that. And there's some kind of magic. There's some kind of magic. And also, I know a story that the Harvard University during the experience, okay, during his parliament, just like that, okay. And he go to a one school. He go to one school and divided a small school, divided student into two groups, and one group is that actually they are the normal people. They are the normal people. And then the professor from Harvard University and told them, so I told them you are the select one. You are the select one. So you have a good talent, and you have the how to say that? You have the very good talents, and you will have a very good futures. So through our practice, so all of you will become very successful in the futures. So about 50 years later, 50 years later, so and these students are become famous, are become successful. All of these selected students are become successful. Yeah. So that is some kind of magic. Yeah. That. Yeah. I believe that. Yeah. I believe that. So actually, that is always our author Shema said. We are the creator of our own mind. We are the creator of our own world. We are the one we want to be. Okay, we are the one we want to be. So all the secrets are in our autonomous book. All the secrets are in our autonomous book, beyond emptiness. Right here, beyond emptiness. Yeah, in this book. In this book. So I believe the magic. I believe the magic fact. Yeah. So let's continue to talk about the story and happens in the desert hunters. Yeah, the desert hunters. Yeah, yeah, you're right. And our author Xuemo, yeah. So that is the magic. There's some kind of magic beside me, okay? And our author Xuemo is also a very good example. Can you imagine that our author Xuemo is a normal kid in this village. In this village, so can you imagine that not only the school textbook could be found in these villages when our author Xuemo was a little kid, yeah. But how these kids become a writer, yeah? He cannot see that a thread of hope, and our author Xuemo become of famous writers in China and all over the world. Yeah, that is an example beside me. So let's continue to talk about the story in this book. Actually, that is the true stories in happens in Western China, okay, Gansu province. So the poachers set out the nest in the mountain, the Chilean mountain, to hunt the animals. And a girl, a beautiful girl, was killed by the poachers while she was trying to protect the deers. So this book it will get movies in August this year. And then last year I told the director to travel around the city. And then when we go to the forest, when we go to the forest, a very beautiful forest, and then the villager told us in the morning the deers will come down to eat the grass, yeah, to eat the grass in the valley, yeah. So in the Chilean mountains, there are a lot of wild animals right there, yeah. So the girl was killed by the poachers while she was trying to protect the deers. And then in the mountains, the peoples you perform the celestial burial for his daughter. Okay, so just as the Tibetan people did, the people in Tibetan they will also perform the celestial burial. Okay, and this in this book, the girl was killed by the poacher, and his father also performed the celestial burial for his daughter. Yeah. So in the temple where the white deer was enshrined, so the lamas was holding a fire riches, and the poachers broke into the temple to find the white deer, dragging the lamas one by one from the scripture hall to the Kanyard and beat the llamas. Yeah, the llamas are being beaten in the mud and rain, continue to train sutras and mantras. Yeah, so that is the story about the white deer in the desert hunter. So actually, uh, in Wuwei city, there is a white deer's body in the temples, Huazhang temples in Wuwei city. Okay, so and our author Simon read the news in the newspaper. There is a white deer bodies in the Huazhang temples in Wuwei city, and then our author Xuemo got an idea to write this novel, Desert Hunter. Desert Hunter, yeah. Desert Hunter, written by Chinese author Xuemo, yeah. So let's continue to talk about this book, okay? Let's continue to talk about this book. One of the poachers, has hunted for all his life, yet died in abject poverty, unable to escape it even until his last day. So mm, the average hunter here buried the poachers and returned to the pig's berry where they all ate of the desert. Yeah. So the wolf are seeking revenge. You know that the wolf are seeking revenge to kill hundreds of lamb. And also, Yaozi, the poetry reader, killed a lot of wolf. And the wolf seeking revenge among Yaozi's entire family. And in return, Yaozi, the poetry reader, wiped out the wolf den. At this time, Yaozi, the poetry reader, wanted to settle the score with his brother and Meng Baye. During the fight, the Tibetan mastiff protect its owner and save Meng Baye. So at this time, the police officer arrived just in time with the plainclothes office, arresting Yaozi and all the poachers. All the poachers were arrested by the policemen. Yeah. So, and you know that because of the water table are becoming, okay, sorry. 喂，学姐，嗯。 下午吧，上午要直播，中午打完包，下午就过来。下午大概是3点半的样子吧。好吧。要不我早点也行啊。你在想，你就在那差不多到你那差不多应该要4点了吧？啊，嗯，好嘞。哦，好，20来个人吧。雪狮本来是27个人嘛。雪狮这边雪狮跟那个水晶团队走了，大概有走了4、5个人，5个人，应该还有22个人吧。22。对，都算。嗯好嘞。好的，明白。嗯I'm so sorry, and some people for me, okay? Some people for me. So I'm going to sharing you continue talk about the desert rise, desert hunters, okay? Desert hunters written by Chinese author Xuemo, yeah? So let's continue talk about the histories happens during 1990s in Western China, okay? So you know that the water tables are becoming lower and lower, yeah? And then the poetry reader, okay, the well keeper was she come down to the well to dig deeper to make the well deeper, and then he was killed by accident. After the well keeper's death, yeah. So a lot of the herdsmen from the two camps, north and south of the Gari, fought fiercely over the pig's very well, okay, leaving several dead and injured. So at that time, the elderly hunter performed the ceremony of thanking of the hunting god and threw his rifle into the fire, which the rifle had accompanied with Mengbaye for decades. Yeah, and left the pigs very well, and left the pigs very well with Mengzi, the young hunter, and the well keeper's wife. Yeah, and as soon as the well keepers died, the pig's very well was soon destroyed, not by the ranging shifting sand, not by the sandstorm, but by the humans in fighting. To seize this well, people become blind by greed and lost their sanity. And when mad and abandoned all counsels, this small well profound reflect the good and evil in human nature. Okay, as the saying goes, calamity sent by the heaven can be endured, but a disaster caused by human leave no way to survive. And this well, the oasis in the desert, this Pixbury well is no longer just a well. It presents a matter of life and death for all humanity. Yeah. So that is the story of the desert hunter. So if you want to know the detail, if you want to read the book, you can take the copy below our live stream on Amazon. On Amazon, yeah. So let's continue talk about the desert rise. Only a change of heart can prevent human from becoming prey of the spiritual hunting ground of, of their own mind. Yeah. So some people said, if one day the earth was destroyed, and this book will tell you how it happens. If the earth was destroyed, if some people can find this book, and this book will tell you how it happens. So that is the book written by Chinese author Xuemo from the desert geologist, desert hunter, the histories of the 1990s in Western China. Yeah. Now I'm going to show you another variant of the desert geologist is this book, White Tiger Pass. White Tiger Pass, okay, is the last warrant of the desert geologist. And also, and this book described in the 1990s in Western China, a lot of people, a lot of people, a lot of young generation, they want to escape from the land and go to the city. And go to the city, a lot of people move into the city. So if you love meaningful stories that explore courage, love, and the strength of women, you are going to enjoy this section. Okay, today let's dive into one of the most powerful novels in Mr. Sherman's desert trilogies, White Tiger Pass. This book, White Tiger Pass, is a deeply moving story about three women living in the vast Gobi Desert of China. Yeah, through their struggle, pain, and love, the novel reveals how the human spirit can shine even in the hardest conditions. It's not just a story; it is a journey of self-discovery, resilience, and hope. Every page of this book carries emotions, wisdom, and the beauty of life's strength. Through the prism of three young village women, Lang Lang, Ying'er, and Yuer, White Tiger Pass, White Tiger Pass recounts their daily life as they love and cry, love and hate, just like any human does. The novel masterfully dives into the inner worlds of its characters, deconstructing and complexity of humans' experience. Yeah, such as useful love, memory, regret, waiting, rebellion, fear, and despair, self-redemptions, and heartfelt conversations in this book. All these elements together paint a vivid picture of the plight of women in the rural regions of China amid the social change in 1990s, showcasing their resilient spirit and unwillingness to succumb to destiny. So if we talk about the desert rise, the white tiger pass. So we will talk about the three characters in this book, the three women in this book. Okay, first let's talk about Lang Lang. Lang Lang, okay, Lang Lang, Ying'er, and Yuer, both of them are the sister-in-law. Both of them are the sister-in-law. Okay, so Lang Lang, because his brother cannot get married. His brother didn't have enough money to get married, and then he is another character exchange marriages in Western China. Yeah, due to his brother's lack of money, okay, she, 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 she become the bargaining chips to the exchange marriage in Western China. Yeah, Lang Lang, when she get married with her husband, she have a doctor. She have a doctor, and then you know that in Western China, the family they want to have a son. They want to have a son, but Lang Lang she only have one daughter with her husband. Okay, and then her husband was feel disappointed, and he want to have another son. But due to the family plan, one family, one child. Okay, they cannot have another baby. They cannot have another baby. So his and her husband always go to gambling. Okay, and when her husband lost the money in the gambling, and her husband will got drunk. Between the alcohol, it got drunk and come back home. And Lang Lang was hitting by her husband. Yeah. So do you know what happened next? And there's something happens made Lang Lang so disappointing for her husband. And then Lang Lang want to divorce with her husband. Why? Do you know that? Do you know why? Her husband want to have another son. And her husband just take the doctor, their doctor to the, how to say that? To the doctor to the snowland and kill the doctors in the snowland, freezing. Okay, can you imagine that? That's a father, dude. A father kill their doctors. So even the tiger, they won't eat their children as a father kill his daughter. Yeah. So and left Lang Lang so disappointed and so sad about her husband. And just because her daughter was killed by her husband. And then Lang Lang want to divorce with her husband. But at that moment, his brother, Lang Lang's brother, was killed by the stomach cancer. Okay, and then it means that as the bargaining chips of the exchange marriage. So if Lang Lang divorced with her husband, and then her sister-in-law must be left her family. Okay, must left her family just because Ying'er's husband just passed away by the stomach cancer. Yeah, and also let's talk about another characters in the White Tiger past. Ying'er. Ying'er, she's also a bargaining chips in the exchange marriages. Yeah, and then the story centers on her forbidden loves, her forbidden loves affairs with Ling Guan, her husband's younger brother. Yeah, can you imagine that? So as the daughter-in-law of Lao Shun, Ying'er was forced to marry with her Daoist husband, who suffered from a physical disability. Her husband suffered from a physical disability, yeah, due to the custom of exchange marriages. After her dream was shattered, she was pressured by her mother into remarriages to a butcher. So these two fictional characters, Lang Lang and Yue, or Lang Lang and Ying they decide to take the control of their destiny. These two young women, they decide to go to take a job in the salt company in Mongolia. Take a short, take a job in the salt company in Mongolia just to make the money. Okay, if they have enough money, they can become the master of their destiny, and they can have, for example, they can give the money to Ying'er's brother to remarry, and Lang Lang want to divorce to her husband. Okay, so and when these two ladies decide to go to take a job in the Mongolia salt company, they have to pass the desert. They have to pass the desert between the salt company and the city and the village. There is a desert, the tangle that desert between them. So these two ladies accompanied with a camel and a dog and some food and some water. They just go into the desert. So what happens in about these two ladies when they go to the desert? Okay, especially when they lost their camel and they lost their dog. How these two ladies survival in the desert? How these two ladies, okay, when they are chasing by the wolf, when they are chasing by the fox, How can these two ladies survive in the desert? You can find the secret in this book, White Tiger Pass, and you can find the book below our live stream. Okay, yeah, you can find the secret in this book. How these two ladies can survive this nothing in the desert. So some people also said that the White Tiger Pass is a survival guidance for the people to explore the desert. Yeah. So I read a lot of news when the people drive to the desert, a lot of become the mummy, the mummy in the desert because of lack of water. And their gasoline was gone. And these two ladies, when they lost their camel, okay, and then how can they cease how can she how can they survive in the desert? How could they find the food in the desert? How could they find the water in the deserts? Okay, so even though that you can say this is a survival novels, and also it's a said these two ladies how to transcend themselves. Okay, so let's continue to talk about that. Okay, after her dream was shattered, you know that her forbidden love affair with Ling Guan, her husband's younger brother. Yeah. So do you know that Yinger took his son's name as Hope? As Hope. Do you know why? Just because her lover, her husband's younger brother, left her to go to the city. So that is the realities happens in 1990s in Western China. Actually, is the realities in the 1990s in China. A lot of young generation they left their countryside for the city. Okay, so now the villages in this area, the villages in this area in Western China, so a lot of house are abandoned. A lot of house are abandoned. So in 1990s in these villages, I thought I I heard that there's about more than 1,000 people live in these villages. Do you know now how many people live in these villages? Only about 200, less than 200 people live in these villages. Only the old man and some little kids live in the villages. And the young generation just go to the city to take a job in the city. So in the 1990s, a lot of people just flow into the city to find a job. Yeah. So you know what happens in 1990s? Yeah. Because the policies and our authorship opened the opportunity for the people to get a job to develop the economies. Yeah. So and these two ladies destiny is what happens. So you can read the books, the White Tiger Pass, and you can give you the answer. Okay, through this book, you can see what happens in 1990s. Okay, and in the years of 2025, last year, an Italian ex-professor just come to visit our academy. Okay, she have a conversation with our author Xuemo. Yeah, she know Mr. Xuemo just because of the desert challenges, because he do the research of the Chinese countryside literary literature. Yeah, and when you read the Desert Rise, he loved these three books so much. It's the best read this book, White Tiger Pass. Yeah, and some people said that this book, The White Tiger Pass, is just as good as uh, Tolstoy's novels, the Russia's writer. Yeah. So let's continue to talk about this book. After after her dream was shattered, she was pressured by her mother to remarry, to marriage it to a butcher. Through her life, Yinger was regarded as a tool for reproduction and a bargaining chips in transactions. Yeah. While working at the soap company, she endured the objectified gaze of men. Upon returning home, she witnessed her mother's despicable act of sacrificing her daughter's happiness to secure his brother's marriage. Gradually, her mental state collapsed. She expressed her deep longing for Lingguang through traditional folk song, Hua. Yet the contentions of ethic oppressing the reality turned this love into a hopeless obsession. Yeah, this woman, this woman once defined suffering through romantic ideas, ultimately took her own life after being forced into another marriage, using her death to condemn feudal ethic and gender oppressions. Her tragedy, her tragedy reflect the collective fate of the rural women in that area and that era. Ying'er was Lao Shun's daughter-in-law, and she loved Lingguang, her husband's younger brother. Lingguang is the fire of hope in her life, yeah, her reason to look forward. However, her lover Lingguang left her for the city, so she could not confine her longing for him through Hua. Okay, Ying saying, sing the Hua like this. On the white paper, I write a black character. On the yellow paper, I stamp a seal. When you have money, when you earn the money, bring me a smile, bring me a smile. When you have no money, bring me a bolt of cloth. When you miss me, when you are missing me, come, come and see your last. When you don't buy me a farewell, when you're alive, send me a letter. When you are dead, visit me in a dream. This horror, this tender horror was Ying's love letter to Lingguan, a profound expression of woman's longing for love and amid hardship. For Yinger, Lingguang was the love of her salvation. With his love, he could have been a happy woman. Year after losing her husband was passed away by the stomach cancer. The stomach cancer, yeah. Yinger has no right to choose her own future, yeah. Let alone unite with Mengzi, Lin Guang's younger brother, her husband's youngest brother, yeah. Caught in the conflict between her husband and her family, and her natal family, her husband's family and her natal family. She once again felt that she was not more than an object. Her husband's family wanted the child she was born, while her natal family wanted to profit from her by arranging another marriages. Okay, to make the money to give his brother, make her brothers to remarry. Yeah, she experienced at the soap company made him realize that the man's pursuit of her was merely based on physical desires. When she returned home, she witnessing her mother despicable deeds, realizing that her mother would even satisfy her old daughter's body to steal a marriage alliance. This story in this book, this story, the patient woman was finally defeated by the ugliness of the reality. The Lingguan in her heart might be already forgotten her. Yeah, even if he hadn't, They unite with still a violet ethical norm, and could never be realized in the real life. In the end, this woman who once sent a choir with sorrow and yearning and her flower-like life. And this novel, White Tiger Pass, was translated by Holt Gobler and Sybil Richard Lin, the translator of Nobel Prize-winning author Mo Yan, which ensured the story emotion and the rhythms are perfectly captured in English. So let's talk about another lady, the last lady in this book, White Tiger Pass, Yue. Yue, she is the sister-in-law of Lang Lang and Ying'er. Yeah, she is the most beautiful lady in the villages. In the years of 1990s, yeah, she go to the city. She just joined the flow of the young generation to go to the city for make the big monies. Yeah, because she lack of skill, lack of knowledge. This beauty, she cannot find a job in the city. She cannot find a job in the city, but she met a businessman in the city. A businessman in the city, the businessman from Beijing. Even though the businessman got married, yeah, was married, and then the businessman told Yue, the businessman said, okay, Yue, I love you so much. I want to get married with you, even though I have already married, but I will divorce to my wife and remarry to you. And then you believe what the businessman said. And she settled down with the businessman in the apartment. And after they settled down together, okay, the beauty, yeah, she got the dirty illness. She got a dirty illness by the businessman. Yeah. And then the businessman left her. So the beauty, yeah, she had to come back to the countryside. She had to come back to the countryside to know what happens during the countryside. So she just got married. She just got married with her lover, Mengzi. Okay, Mengzi. Uh, Ying'er's youngest brother-in-law. Okay, so and then after her husband know that she got the dirty illness, yeah, her husband Mengzi want to divorce with her, but Mengzi saw that that is the tough period of his wife's life, so he had to take care of her wife until the illness was cured. Okay, and then you know what happens? And these two and this young couple and these young couples they settled down in a house. Okay, they fell in love with each other so much. Yeah. So because yours body was so special, the medicine doesn't work on the dirty illness. The medicine doesn't work for the dirty illness for your, and then and then and then Yu's husband just want to take care of her and just want to find the medicines for her to 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 cure her dirty illness. Okay, do you know what happened to Yue? Yue was waiting for her husband to come back every evening, and her husband was taking a motorbike to the city to get the word. Now, okay, let's talk about it. Okay, So every time when I drive a car from the city to these villages, it would took me about half an hour, about 30 minutes, 30 minutes. So if we are taking a motorbike, it would be about 40 minutes, more than 40 minutes. And every evening, we can see the lady girl was waiting, was waiting for her husband's coming and the entrance of the villages every evening. Yeah. So that is the story of waiting and yeah, useful loves about Mengzi and Yue. So and finally, this beauty, she realized that her dirty illness it won't be cured by the medicines. So this beauty, she decided to burn himself in the desert. She decided to burn himself in the desert. He burned himself on the desert, just want to burn the dirty illness and let the fire burning her illness and burning her love. Yeah. So she didn't want to get the dirty illness to her husband. Yeah. So that is the story of the White Tiger Pass. The White Tiger Pass, and also in actually, that is a real story happened in this city, and the name of the pass is called Double Dragon Pass. Double Dragon Pass. And our author Xuemo used another name, used the White Tiger Pass. White Tiger Pass. And this story is so touching. It's so touching. And the novel is translated by Holt Goblet and Sebastian Lane, the translator of Nobel Prize winning translator. Yeah. So you can get the White Tiger Pass right now. It's available in two editions on Amazon. The paperback editions is about 27 or 25 US dollar. Yeah, the paperback editions. Yeah, and also the Kindle ebook of the White Tiger Pass is about 3 US dollar. Yeah. So you just take the books below or live stream on Amazon. So you can read in just a few days. Okay. So you can choose the version you prefer. Okay. Both versions are available for fast delivery. So you can start your reading in just a few days, my friend. So just add the books into your cart right now while you are watching. Okay, this book has received growing 5 stars review from the readers who said it both powerful and inspiring. Let the White Tiger Pass remind you that even in the desert, the human heart can be bloom like a flower. So if you never into the desert, if you never had the experience when you are in the desert, through our autonomous writing, you can feel the taste of the desert. Okay, Desert Rise, Desert Hunter, and the White Tiger Pass. These three books are written by Chinese author Xuemo. And this book, okay, it will show you that what happens during 1990s in Western China, especially after the publication of these three books. Okay, so the Chinese government canceled the tax for the Chinese farmer. Okay, so I'm going to show you some truths about this book. Okay, in this book, in this book, Mr. Sherman describes how the farmer they pay the tax for the Chinese government, and then the farmers have to select the best grants. Okay, they have to select the best grant, and then when they take the grants agency to the agency. So, and the governor will give them some and may make an obstacle to them. So if they didn't pay the red pocket money to the governor. So, and Mr. Sherman described what happens when the farmers pay the tax. Yeah. And then the Chinese government cancel the tax for the farmers. So when I was a little boy, when I was a very, very little boy. So I accompanied with my parents to pay the tax. So yeah, I didn't know what happens, but I was so happy because my father will drive a truck to the agency, okay, just some kind of truck, okay, that truck is called is so different, it's the farmer's truck, the farmer's truck, okay. So I was so happy when I was sitting on the rise. So I didn't know what happens in the agency. I just remember the happy things, what happens when we're going to pay the tax for the government, for the government. And after this book was published, and the Chinese government canceled the tax for the farmers. Yeah, so that is our author Xuemo do in his life, and he do a lot of things just want to beneficial to the world. Our author Xuemo's writing, he's always said, my writing, I just want to beneficial to the world, and actually our author Xuemo really did that. Okay, for example, and our author Xuemo write this book, The Eternal Love. The Eternal Love is also written by Chinese author Xuemo. And this book, it is quite a dying woman who got a tongue cancer, and the doctor says she only have 2 or 3 months left to live. And under the guidance by our author Xuemo, she lived for more 4 years, although her body was in agony, but her mind was peaceful. And when the people go in the tough periods in their life, yeah. So I will suggest you to read this book, Eternal Love, written by Chinese author Xuemo. And this book, it will give you the guidance to transform the fear into the inner balance. A lot of guidance in this book that you can take from this book. Okay, The Eternal Love, written by Chinese author Xuemo. Yeah. So that is our author Xuemo did in his life. All his writing just want to beneficial to the world. Okay. So, okay, uh, the world is a reflection of the mind. This book is a life-saving book written by Chinese author Xuemo, and this book actually saved a lot of people's life after they read this book. Okay, so hi viewer, thank you so much for accompanying with me. Okay, this is Louis from Western China. I'm here to share you the book written by Chinese author Xuemo. So if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe our channel. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for accompanying with me. Yeah, this is Louis from Western China. I'm here to share you the book written by Chinese author Xuemo. Yeah. So, okay, goodbye. Have a nice day. Have a nice day. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe our channel for more updates and for more wisdom books. Yeah.